Then within a few short years, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Clean Water Act, the Toxic Substances Control Act, the Wilderness Act, the Endangered Species Act, the Resource Recovery Act, and more. For a while they were working, but the corporations were also immediately fighting back. In 1971, corporate attorney Lewis Powell, soon to be appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, wrote a memorandum to his client, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, outlining a plan. Powell proposed a sustained, multi-year, and well-funded corporate campaign to use, quote, an activist-minded Supreme Court, his words, to produce social, economic, and political change to the advantage of corporations. First in a case representing the tobacco companies, then as a sitting justice of the Supreme Court, Powell pushed the corporate rights agenda. In 1976, the case of Buckley versus Vallejo, the Supreme Court ruled that political spending by corporations is a form of protected free speech. There go our rights again, being given to corporations. That's right, money is speech. A corporation has no mouth, so it speaks through money, the court said. Well, I say if a corporation has no mouth, it's not a person. In 2010, in Citizens United versus FEC, the court outlawed any limits on independent political spending by corporations, throwing out all the existing limits put on by campaign finance laws. So what has been the result of this extension of constitutional rights to artificial persons? So oil and gas companies refuse to name what chemicals they use in the process of extracting natural gas. If corporations have the right to free speech, they also have the right to remain silent. Meanwhile, real people don't even have the right to know what's been injected into their property. Because of so-called corporate personhood rights, corporations can sue communities that ban fracking, claiming that the ban denies them profits that they would otherwise be free to make. This so-called right, based on what is referred to as the takings clause, has a chilling effect on efforts to make corporations accountable. The threat of multi-million-dollar lawsuits stymies many potential actions. Why do we not have hydrogen power, as our brother Jim Maloney talked about earlier today? When we talk about these corporate rights, we're talking about Monsanto fighting labeling laws for RBST and GMOs. We're talking about West Virginia mountaintop removal, where the coal companies have laid waste to land and bring misery for the sake of profits. More than 500 mountaintops have been blown up and obliterated, and the toxic debris has been dumped into valleys and over 2,000 miles of headland streams. We're talking about billions of dollars in electoral spending and lobbying. Corporations fund associations giving millions to political candidates without having to disclose their source. Legislators who decide energy policy should not receive secret money from oil and gas companies. Legislators who decide environmental policy should not receive millions of dollars of secret money from polluters. Legislators who decide whether we go to war should not receive millions of dollars of secret money from companies that profit from war.
Yeah!
So we join together today to say, life over profit, love over profit.